so keep that in mind.
Yeah, hey, forget I asked.
That'll definitely do.
Ew. Join the Discord.
It was the least fun I've ever had playing this game.
A small but vibrant and extremely humble community.
No, I've seen the sleeves, but I'm like, you said you're suiting up, and then you put your sleeve on. Thank you for saying that.
Because I'm a demon on the keys.
Next thing I know, we're both dead. I immediately left the lobby.
In Vietnam.
What are they playing for? Are they playing to win?
Stay humble.
Stay humble.
We are live. Welcome to the Dropshot, a Call of Duty podcast.
Hold on. That was a
Sponsored
season
by
one
Raven
intro.
Software development company.
Okay, that was a season one intro.
By Raven.
Okay,
Because we're sponsored by Raven.
got it.
Endorsed by Raven, right? Not quite. We'll get into it. Welcome to the show, episode
thinks so.
131. We've got a lot to talk about today. The subject of tonight's episode will be revealed to you in due time. But first, we have some announcements, and let me warn you now, strap the fuck in.
They're good announcements too. If you usually skip the announcements, don't ever. But also, don't skip this one, please. Why don't we do? You want to do the jingle right now?
I was going to do the plan we had talked about, so
Okay.
just don't say any more. But yeah, you know.
Okay.
So we're gonna do that. All right. So, big episode, fun episode planned for today. And as I said, the actual topic will be revealed to you in due time. The actual topic is, of course, kind of an overview of the Warzone meta right now. I don't want to bait you guys into thinking this is some crazy fucking special whatever episode, but it is going to be really fun. And the meta is very interesting right now, and I'm very excited to, of course, get into that and explore with you guys. The topic of today's episode is going to be very similar to like the Warzone brainstorm type of episodes that you patrons have already listened to before. It's not going to be the same as the last Warzone brainstorm because the game has changed since then. That's not what I mean. I mean, the format is going to be very similar to you. And that's kind of what we're doing tonight. So if you're not a patron and you finish this broadcast and you're like, damn, that was cool, I liked that type of content, patreon.com/thedropshot, because we do a lot of this type of content on the Patreon. We've done probably 8 Warzone brainstorm type episodes. Maybe not 8, maybe like 6, but we do them often. So if you enjoy this episode tonight, patreon.com/thedropshot, you should join it just like these people did. MKJ, Cheddar Bob, okay, .com Wiz,
Change it.
and Rezprez are very fucking new gold patrons. Let's go, dude. Bonus episodes, weekly hangouts, more, etc. Patreon.com/thedropshot. Thank you, boys, for signing up as gold. You guys are awesome and you're supportive. But you're worse people than this person. Dadticle275 not only signed up as a Damascus patron, but he full sent it and went straight to annual, dude.
Whoa, let's go.
Straight to annual, dude. Straight there. Saved himself a nice 16% on 1 year, 12 glorious months of Damascus patronage. Dadticle275, change your name. Thank you very much for signing up, brother. I appreciate it. And you have a giant brain, because not only did you join the Patreon, which makes you a genius level IQ, you also did it annually and saved yourself some money. So now we're talking, I mean, algorithmically gifted brain. Just insane.
He's the smartest person I've ever met.
Ever. Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. So, like all of our Damascus annual patrons are, of course. Now, speaking of the Patreon, thank you, boys. Much appreciated. That is the best way to support the program. The newest Patreon app is live, and that came out on Friday morning, yesterday, Friday afternoon. So that is exactly what I was talking about just earlier. Another Warzone brainstorm. It is largely a continuation of like episode 35, bonus episode 35. We're just kind of going through the meta a little bit more and a little bit more. And we're doing a lot of episodes surrounding this topic because since season 3 came out, Warzone has been very much in flux and changing a lot. And so we've been talking about it a lot because we're trying to figure out, along with the rest of the community, what should be used, what's good, what's not good, etc. So that's live for those of you who are patrons. You can check that out, obviously. And then next week we are gonna do customs at the Hangout. So yesterday we had our patron hangout. We just kind of hung out and vibed, and it was a great time. We were up late, as we always are. Shared some war stories, some jokes. We made some tier lists, and it was an absolute fucking blast. And some people were trolled L, which was great. Forgot about that.
They're above you. They're above you.
We just kept we were watching L stream Warzone, and we kept typing in his chat, "Oh, he's right above you. How do you not see him?" And he's like, "I don't see him," because there was no one there.
Well, because he was at Array too, and he kept looking up because he was confused and thought somebody was up there. And it's hard to see because it's Array. So
True.
it worked.
It was fantastic, yeah. So if you want to troll L2K, join the Patreon. Now, next week, though, we will be doing customs. We're going to do Rebirth Island, I'm 95% sure. I am considering Mini Royale instead of Resurgence.
Are you?
Because we haven't tried Mini Royale on Rebirth Island before. And I feel like that could be fun and exciting. But I'm not sure. What are your thoughts on this plan, Tanner?
We could. We also haven't done customs even on the new Verdansk. We haven't done it on 1984 Verdansk, which of course is entirely different. I know it'll confuse a lot of people because of how different it is.
It's entirely different.
But
sure.
There was a lot of people last week saying they wanted to play Verdansk too. So maybe we'll do a little vote later this week, see what they want to do, if they want to do Rebirth or not. But I don't know. I thought Resurgence was fun. I like it. I don't think anyone had a problem with Resurgence. I think if anything, some people just wanted to play Verdansk and don't like Rebirth at all. Which, to be honest, I don't understand. All you play is Verdansk. Just play Rebirth one night a week for like 2 hours. It's fun.
I agree.
So, I don't know.
I have a blast too. Yeah. So we might change it up. We might not. But whatever. That'll be on Friday. We'll be doing customs of a strike.
Yeah.
So that's that. And then Tanner, you have another little editorial note here. What am I looking at?
Oh, yeah. So there's a lot of people, right, who don't come to the Hangout because it's not customs, because you're scared. To be frank, it's because you're a pussy, right, Raz? Are we on the same page?
That is of course true.
I mean,
don't be a pussy.
Stop being a little bitch and just get in the voice channel. It's not that hard. Like, we're all pieces of shit. You guys listen to this podcast. If you guys like this podcast, then you are undoubtedly a piece of shit. If you join the Patreon, you're even a bigger one. So stop being scared. Don't come around just for customs. Come around. Just come around when we're vibing, right? Let's just vibe together. So just stop being scared.
True. And what a lot of little shy boys do, and you all are borderline agoraphobic, of course. I mean, you listen to a podcast about Call of Duty, right? So there is something inherently wrong with each and every one of you who are listening to this program. And your social skills are severely lacking. You have arrested development, right? That's fine. I get it. But you all do, number one. And also what you could do if you're a shy little boy, you're a shy little pussy boy, like many of you are, you can join the Discord channel and mute your mic and just listen and hang out that way. A number of people do this, and I'm told they have fun eavesdropping, sanctioned eavesdropping. And you could do that too. You could also do that just to see if you'd be interested in talking later or adding your input. Yeah. There have been a couple times where someone will be doing that. We'll be talking for 2 or 3 hours, and then we'll stumble into some like debate, and this person who's super shy is seething behind the mic because of the dog shit opinions that are being debated, and they unmute. The first thing they say is like, "Raz, you fucking idiot. 8 cylinders are so much better than 6 cylinders," or whatever the fuck it would be about. And that's fun too. So you could do that, but just join the channel and yeah, mute, and it's a good time. We don't pick on people who don't talk. It's fine. Unless I like.
Well, you pick on everyone, yeah.
Yeah, well, sure. Yes, of course, and I will single you out and embarrass you. I'm kidding. I wouldn't do that.
Yeah. No.
But
yeah,
anyways.
Actually, never. No.
Yeah. So yeah, stop being a little bitch, as Tanner said. You guys are paying for it, so you might as well. It's fun. I promise you, it's fun.
Yeah.
Actually.
You guys don't do anything on Friday nights. I mean, be honest with us. You're not doing anything.
Yeah, exactly. Don't lie. Don't say, "Oh, I'm gonna go hang out with my friends." Hey, patron, you're a patron. You don't have friends. We're your friends now. So join the fucking Discord, okay?
True.
Thank you.
True.
Now, also, this week was our first attempt at doing daytime streams. It couldn't have gone better, and I don't anticipate we are ever going to go back to nighttime streams, like after the pod streams, like we were doing before. So we're going to be guaranteeing, not quite yet, but this is what I expect is going to happen. We're going to be guaranteeing 2 gameplay streams a week during the day. And then if we want to ever game after the pod, we'll do that. But those aren't the guaranteed ones. Because we did that this week. We streamed on Tuesday afternoon for Tanner's birthday, and we streamed on yesterday afternoon for Not a Goddamn Soul's birthday. And it was great.
Yeah, it was
so
fun.
much more fun. So much better than playing after the pod. I'm not exhausted. I'm not drunk. I'm only getting aimbotted in half my matches, not 80% of them.
Actually, yeah. We do pretty well.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. Winning way more games, getting way more kills, and having way more fun, frankly. Because this is something we talk about, right? If you're doing well in the game, it's more fun to play the game. So that's been nice. And I think we're going to just keep doing that. So like next week, maybe not next week. I think Tanner is going to Zion again, but in the future, I think we're going to stay on the same scheme.
We'll probably still do a gameplay stream on... Oh, I don't know how it's going to work because we're going to have to do the podcast Tuesday night. Maybe we'll still do a game stream Tuesday afternoon. Yeah, I don't know. You'll figure it out. Follow the Twitter. Look at the schedule we tweet out.
Correct. Yeah, we'll figure it out. But in general, I think we're going to keep doing it this way. And in general, it's probably going to be Tuesday and Friday afternoons, 12 p.m. Pacific time, the only correct time zone, of course. So keep that in mind. For sure.
Yeah.
And now I think that's about it for announcements. Tanner.
Yeah, I think that's everything. Should we move on?
Well, wait. No, hold on. That.
Oh, you want to do that now?
I think this is our last announcement.
Oh, this is our last
jingle.
announcement. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, if we're doing it that way, yeah.
Yeah. I think we are, yeah.
I do not get scammed. Yeah, so by the way, yesterday marked 60 days, the 60-day leave I took from work. And so you guys have been asking what I was going to do. I said I didn't know. I didn't know. I wasn't really sure. It was hard to make a decision if I was going back to work or not, but it's probably not going to be surprising to any of you. But last night, I wrote a letter of resignation, and I took it in to the owner after hours, and I said, I'm gone. See ya. And I cleaned out my locker. I bought a couple things, and I said, see ya. I'm out of here. I handed him my letter of resignation, then I went up front and rung myself up for something, because I don't give a fuck, right? I don't give a shit.
Damn, not even employed there and rings himself up.
Just ringing myself up. I'd ask me if I care. I don't. So, yeah. So, officially, Raz and I are both full-time now. And, of course, as Raz said last time, this wouldn't be possible if we weren't absolute, scumbags and had a place to live, because believe me, it's expensive to live in California. So we're not over here making millions, right? But we're making enough for us that we can do this full time, and that's what we're going to try to do. And so we're just going to try to push it even more. So these last 2 months, we've been working on a lot of things behind the scenes. Things have been going well. It did make me realize, though, how quickly those 2 months went by. So, now that I know for sure, because there was even stuff like 4 weeks ago, we were trying to plan, and I was like, I don't know if I'm going back to work. It's hard to even plan anything like that. So now that that's just completely gone, we know for sure I'm not. We can plan things further out, schedule dates for some things. We're going to be planning another tournament coming up here soon. We'll probably drop some info on that next week.
True.
So, yeah. So it's official, boys. Full time.
It's official. How
It's
does
official.
it feel? How does it feel?
Not as different as I thought it would, since I already took a 60-day leave. It doesn't really feel like anything. I mean, I worked there for 12 years, so pretty nuts. But yeah, I don't know. Just things change at businesses. You kind of just start to not like things. You're less interested, and it's more fun doing this for sure. Yeah, for those of you asking, I was working at a somebody just asked in chat. A lot of people don't know. We've said it, but it was at a hardware store, like a small one. So I did kind of everything: customer service, repairs, assembly, all sorts of things. But yeah, so you may see me downtown next week at the city hall. They do canned food drive. I'll probably be needing it. So if any of you paparazzi see me there, don't take pictures. Don't post them online. Don't let anyone know I'm starving, right?
TMZ is probably here along with 100 Thieves and Raven Software at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, we're just global sensations, phenomena.
Yeah. So
yeah.
If you guys see me losing weight, it's because I'm starving, because I have no money to buy food. But it's fine. We'll make it work. I'll start going. I'll start to go to Trader Joe's trash bin and figure it out. But yeah, that's it, boys. We're officially full time, both of us.
We're officially full-time podcasters, which is unemployed, of course.
Which is unemployed. Well, technically now we're business owners, actually.
That is true.
We can no longer say we're unemployed. We're business owners, dude.
Thanks to the Franchise Tax Board.
Well, here we go again.
Right? We're an LLC. The Dropshot LLC. We will be making business cards, unironically, and I will be distributing them to everyone I see in real life.
You don't see anyone. Who are you going to deliver them to?
Which is my parents.
Okay, yeah.
My brother, and the guy who cuts my hair.
Got it. Cool.
That's it. That's simply it. That's all. But we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll figure it out.
Cool.
So, yeah. Congrats, dude.
Yeah. When do you want me to hit my notifications here? Should we do that
Go ahead
right now?
And hit it right the fuck now.
Okay.
Yeah, just do it right the fuck now.
All right, everyone. Thank you very much for the support tonight. You guys are nuts. Get scammed with the 5 gifted subs. Gaming Boomer with the gifted sub to Mateo. Zerosio with the 11 months tier 1. Let's fucking go, boys. Whoops. Hold on. I hit the wrong thing. Boys, thank you very much. Slivo, 2,000 bits. And also Gaming Boomer 84 with another 20 gifted sub. Hell yeah, boys.
Jesus.
You guys are nuts. Jesus.
Demon time.
Demon time for sure. Boys, I appreciate it. I bought a shit ton of food for tomorrow, so you won't starve for a week. Excellent, boys. I won't starve before the next podcast. That's great.
That's fantastic. Yeah.
Everyone, thank you very much. I really, really appreciate everything.
For sure. For sure. Thank you, boys and girls. Now I can finally drive my fucking employee to... I'm just going to exploit the shit out of him, right? Because now the Dropshot is the only source of income. Time for the exploitation. No, you may not unionize. Not
Really?
doing it. Not allowing any unions, no.
Interesting.
Nope, no collective bargaining here.
Okay.
Not that that's relevant.
What
at
are your
all.
thoughts on providing me with health insurance?
Here it is.
Cool. Lovely.
See ya.
Awesome.
I'll edit that out. So
Cool.
fuck your health. How about that?
Okay. What about what if you pay for my cell phone since you're always fucking messaging me, right? Either you pay for my cell phone bill or you can start emailing me to my business account. Pick one.
Yeah. Okay.
To my
yeah.
business email.
Sure, bud. Sure, bud. All right. Welcome, boys and girls. The Dropshot of Call of Duty podcast, episode 131. Now, as I said at the outset, today we're going to be talking about the kind of Warzone landscape of the day. There was another set of changes that happened yesterday, in fact. And you know what? Let me tell you guys a little story about yesterday. Because yesterday was an interesting day.
Was it?
Right?
Was it a good day for you?
It was an interesting day. Okay? And let me explain why. So, I wake up, Tanner wakes up, I would assume, and
I did at a point.
he wakes up at a time and then does things in the day, and so do I. And then the patch comes out. And then we're, of course, we host the hottest up-and-coming podcast in gaming, the Dropshot of Call of Duty podcast. So obviously, when there is a Call of Duty patch, if there are patch notes, which historically there haven't been many of, but this time there were, we read them. So Tanner and I read yesterday's patch notes. And what was interesting about that, right? What was interesting is they sounded very familiar. You got that impression too, right, Tanner, that they sounded very familiar?
They sounded a lot like our internal notes that we write.
Yeah. It's
right?
almost as if I was reading something that we had written ourselves. Right?
You think?
It was very weird. So Tanner and I are kind of like, I don't know who messaged who first, but I was like, dude.
We messaged each other at the same exact time. It was weird.
Yeah.
At the same exact time.
And we thought the same thing. Like, dude, what is going on here? What's going on? Now, I want to give you guys a little peek behind the curtain, okay? So I'm going to play some audio for you.
Oh, no.
I'm going to play some audio for you.
Oh,
this
no.
is going to be a piece of media, and I hope you can hear it okay. This is... So Tanner and I are lazy pieces of shit. We don't type to each other.
Well, I'm a CEO,
okay.
so I'm not lazy.
We send voice memos over Instagram DMs to each other. I'm gonna give you guys a recording of some of the voice memos we had sent to each other right after we had read these patch notes. Okay, so right after we read the patch notes, we're in like this kind of hallucinogenic state where we're reading something that sounds like we wrote it, but we don't remember writing it. So it was just an interesting conversation. Let's go ahead and take a listen. Tanner, let me know if you can hear this, okay?
Okay.
Dude, the rhetoric? Are you hearing that?
Yeah, it's quieter than our voices for sure, but I could hear it.
I know. I'll turn it up. So
okay.
Here we go. Let's just take a minute and listen here. Dude, the rhetoric of... Did you read the paragraph?
Turn it down.
In the Raven patch notes prior to the notes themselves, they're talking about raising skill ceilings. They're talking about raising time to kill and making it so that you have to be higher skill if you want a really fast TTK. They want to, quote, make every weapon viable. They mention that they are players of the game themselves. It's really simple, and here's what my point is. Raven Software listens to the Dropshot of Call of Duty podcast. There's no way they don't. I just refuse to believe it, that they don't.
Dude, it's so funny you said that, because they actually specifically mentioned, too, they were like, we've heard your concerns about modern warfare weapons, but like, don't worry, we're gonna go through and we're gonna buff some of the like underperforming modern warfare weapons. And I was like, huh? Like, I've never even heard anyone say that except for us. Never heard anyone say that. They're fans. They're fanatics. It's simple.
Dude, they're talking about niches and complementary playstyles. I swear to God, they're using the same words we use. I simply refuse to believe they don't listen to the program. It's simple. It's actually that simple. It's just crazy how simple it is, you know? It ends with, we are always listening. Yeah. We know, Raven. DM us, right? Dude.
So that's the piece of media that I wanted to share. These were some internal discussions that Tanner and I were having after having, of course, read the patch notes. And let me, in case, you know, I mentioned a couple examples there, but I went through the patch notes today again. And I wanted to point some things out, some quotes from the patch notes, and read them back to you, okay? This is just a few examples, by the way. This is not all of them. So as I mentioned, as players of this game ourselves is something they said. That's interesting, because we always accuse them of never having played their own game. So I thought, that's weird. That's a weird little thing to mention right out the gate. But okay, fine, whatever. When we diminish that choice, we take away the agency to play the game your way. This can happen when a weapon becomes so effective that simply not utilizing it puts you at a disadvantage. We aren't the only people who say exactly that. Like, I'm forced to use whatever's meta or I get raped. We're not the only people to say that. But we say it. So that's interesting. Okay. Where most options are at the very least viable. Okay. Well, it's getting weird now, right? Because this is what we've been asking for since prior to Season 3's release. Like, we at least wanted everything to be viable. So we mentioned it before, but okay, sure, whatever. Our ongoing efforts to raise TTK, or at least the individual skill required to reach extreme ones. This is what really, my eyebrows just shot off my head.
Did they?
I did this. I did that move. Like, wait, hold on. Because this is something, this was in particular, I had never see or hear anyone else ever make the point, which we've made on this program many times, that when a gun is overpowered because it kills really fast, at least make it difficult to use so you can't just freely win with it. So the bad example was like the R9 Dragon's Breath. This was overpowered and dog shit because you did not have to be good or have high skill to get the fast TTK out of it. Whereas with a hit scan SPR, it was overpowered, sure, but at least you had to aim to get the overpowered effect. I don't see other people ever make this point. And then all of a sudden, oh, they're saying this in their patch notes. Interesting. Super interesting. But every weapon should at least feel viable and have a niche where it excels given a complementary play style. That's weird.
That's weird.
I've never seen Activision ever use the word niche once. Ever. Ever. And now they're saying niche playstyle. Or what is the quote? Have a niche. Wow. It's almost as if maybe I'm having a fever dream, but it's almost as if I've said, I wish this gun filled a specific niche, even if it doesn't kill the fastest or something, because then there's at least a reason to use it. For example, an MP7 doesn't kill the fastest, but it has a specific niche where it's high fire rate, no recoil, and good handling. So it fulfills a niche, a purpose. It's almost like I've said that before. Because I, of course, have. Many times. Many times. We love the word niche. Activision didn't or doesn't. Now they do. Interesting. Now, I have 10 more examples written down, but I think I'm belaboring the point a little bit. Because we're starting to get it now, right? We're starting to get it now. Where are we? Real quick. Unforgiving, its rate of fire is, referring to the AMAX. Huh? Is that exactly what we say about the Cold War AK, for example? Oh, it kills really fast, but because it has a slow rate of fire, it's unforgiving. We use that exact word. Is that correct?
Absolutely.
Cool. Interesting. Cold War snipers. In addition to improving the overall efficacy of these weapons and attachments, we will also be taking a close look at their optics. Now, we're not the only people to say this about the Cold War snipers, but there aren't many other people saying it. Not that I see. So that was interesting. An engagement space where each weapon type can excel lest we risk guns becoming analogous. Huh. Weird. It's super weird because, once again, another word they've never used once. They probably didn't even know what it meant. But because they're avid listeners, because this is their favorite podcast, right? They heard us using the word analogous, looked it up, and now it's in the patch notes all of a sudden. In addition to the actual content of that sentence rather than whatever. So anyways, we believe this is in part why ARs have been able to assume the role of submachine guns. Don't hear people making the joke that the FFAR is the best SMG in the game, besides here. Maybe I'm crazy. And as always, please continue to share your feedback. We are always listening.
Black helicopters?
Black helicopters.
Are you listening right now, Raven? Are you listening now, buddy? DM me.
Little buddy. Hey, little buddy.
Hey, little buddies, DM us. Now, those are some of the examples. So at this point, again, I'm like, Tanner and I talked about it too. I was like, am I crazy or does this sound like they listen to the podcast? He's like, no, they absolutely do, as you guys heard. So I was like, okay, cool. So I'm thinking I have to try and get confirmation on whether or not they listen to the program. It really feels like they do, but maybe it's all in my head. Maybe I'm being insane. So maybe I can get them to fess up. So Tanner, if you could pull up this image on the broadcast here, please. We have a tweet. Tanner wrote a tweet.
Hold on, I change the
change this little scene. Okay.
There we go.
Well, he does that, yeah. So Tanner writes some tweets from the official the Dropshot podcast Twitter account at the Dropshot Pod. Give us a follow. And I append it with this last one here. Last note, it's good to see Raven Software, I at them, coming out with an exceptional writer for these notes, and particularly the eloquence with which they fleshed out the reasoning behind these changes. Here's the kicker. We know you listen to the program, like the fucking tweet. Okay, that's how the tweet ends. And then 6 minutes later, Raven Software, verified Twitter account, replies. And they say language with a period. They punctuated it. It's interesting. Because I said like the fucking tweet. And I said like the tweet so that I could get some confirmation that they are, of course, avid listeners. But they did us one better. Not only did they like the tweet, they told me to stop cursing.
They did say they don't like cursing, dude. We gotta stop. We're gonna have to stop.
They don't like cursing.
Yeah.
Now, despite the fact that they don't like cursing, we are still their favorite podcast. It's crazy. It's just crazy. So this was pretty nuts. And I was very excited about this, as was Tanner. I did not expect a reply. I wasn't even sure if they were actually listeners, but then they replied to our tweet and essentially said, hey, you're not only our favorite, like, Call of Duty podcasters, you're our favorite content creators ever. That's basically what they said. That's what language, that, basically the same thing. So I was very excited. What did you expect a reply, Tanner?
Of course not.
Did you expect the bait to work?
Of course not. No, I didn't expect a reply because they don't usually reply to people. They don't reply to anyone unless you're Nick Merckx or Tim the Tap Man. It's that simple. And yeah, they liked 2 of our tweets, actually. They liked that top one, I think, and the bottom one. They liked 2 of them, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, this was the other one that they liked. I tweeted out, which is what they said. I did quote, "We ask that you consider these changes not as targeted attacks, but rather as part of a larger initiative to raise the skill ceiling." And then I said, "We love you for saying this at Raven Software." They like that tweet. They like 2 tweets, right? Well, let's just look at what other tweets they've liked recently, right? Oh, an official Call of Duty tweet, okay? True Game Data tweet, okay, yeah. True Game Data is a big creator. They know who he is. They talk to him on Twitter, yeah. Activision Blizzard, Nick Merckx. Oh, the Dropshot podcast ×2. Westy, who is a verified Twitter account with 80,000 followers. Oh, Jack Frags. Oh, Symphony. Oh, the official Call of Duty account. Oh, Treyarch. It's fucking crazy. But they liked ours, right? They liked ours.
The point is they're not just willy-nilly handing out likes.
They're not handing out likes. Not at all. No shot they're handing out likes.
Are they just handing out replies?
No, they don't hand out replies. You know what's crazy, Raz? That day they replied to us, they had replied to 2 other people. It was Nick Merckx and I think Jack Frags. It was them 2.
Yep.
Them 2. It's simple. Raven, we love you. You love us. Send something to the P.O. box.
Yes, absolutely do that. And at least 3 people in your development studio better be Damascus patrons inside of a week. Okay? And I'm going to make a case for why. I'm going to make a case for why that is. Now, by the way, skill ceiling is one I forgot to put in there. I never have heard anyone else say skill ceiling ever in relationship to Call of Duty. Not a dev, not a publisher, not a content creator. No, I've heard some content creators, I think, say that.
I've heard some content creators say it, yeah.
But they don't say skill ceiling, ever. And now they're talking about skill ceilings. Raising skill ceilings. Talk about that a lot. That was just another example that made me think, boy, really sounds like I wrote the notes. Weird. Super weird. Talented writer, by the way. Charlie Intel should consider contracting whoever wrote those patch notes for Raven. Because he's talented. The blurbs were like well written and clear.
Oh, they're fantastic.
They're great.
I think it's a new person who's writing for Raven. Not that their patch notes have ever been bad. They've been much better than Infinity Ward did for a year. They've been much better, but recently they've been insanely good. Very good.
Yes. Yeah. The rhetoric, in addition to the actual content of the changes, which we're gonna get into. But that was very interesting. So I'm gonna throw a couple things out there, okay? Not expecting anything here, but start by saying that. Hey, Raven patch notes writer guy, okay? You're obviously smart guy. Smartest. We can tell. Maybe the smartest developer in all of Activision's development teams combined. It's possible. That bar isn't super high based on Warzone, particularly the first year. And not having an anti-cheat, which isn't your fault. So we're Raven shills now, by the way. Let's just be clear about that.
Oh, yeah.
But we'll move on. Raven, yeah, they do no wrong. So Raven patch notes writer dude, hey, if you're listening to this, just a fantastic job that you did on the last patch, which we'll get into. If you're hearing this, I'm going to issue you a challenge. A lighthearted, all in good fun challenge. Okay? It's going to be a challenge, and it's also going to be another way for us to get confirmation that we are, in fact, your absolute favorite podcast. Okay? Work in the word orthogonal to the next set of patch notes you do. And then we will know for certain that you listen to this program. Because guess what? You're not going to accidentally use orthogonal. It's not going to be a coincidence.
Well, if it's you writing the patch notes, maybe.
And it did seem like it was me.
It did
So
seem
it's
like it
very
was
weird.
you. Are you
It's
writing
very
the
weird.
patch notes for Raven software?
Well,
Black helicopters.
it's possible. Maybe I've been an insider all along,
Maybe.
trying to get the community. This is the Activision community outreach program. Just pull back the mask. Work in the word orthogonal, and then we would know that you're, of course, a diehard supporter of the program. That would be very funny. Now, is there anything in it for you if you do that? No, not really. No. What am I going to do? I live with my parents. I can't give you anything, but it would make our day. So you could do that, and we could get on the mics and thank you for it. It would be very funny.
Oh, we would be very thankful, yeah.
Yeah, but that's not a word that's going to get accidentally put in a set of patch notes unless you will it. So there's the challenge. That would be very cool. But anyways, as an aside, getting a little more serious now. Not only the writing of the notes, but the actual patch itself and the changes that were actually made were swimming. Excellent patch. Maybe the best Warzone patch ever. For a variety of reasons. Raven took many of our concerns into account with this patch yesterday, and they changed things accordingly. And what do you know? Hey, what do you know, guys? Activision listened to the community, which is us, of course. We're the mouthpiece of millions of people, right? They listened to the community. They changed the things we said should be changed. And what do you fucking know, dude? What do you know? Everyone's sucking Raven's dick on Twitter for how good of a patch it is. Wow. That's shocking. That's crazy. They listened to the people who play their game, changed what we said we wanted, and everyone's happy about it? Wow. Wow, dude. That's fucking crazy. It's crazy, dude. It's fucking crazy. The meta has never been more diverse and well-liked until someone discovers something. But for now, it's very good. And I literally have not seen anyone being critical of any part of this patch. Not once. Everyone on Twitter that I'm seeing is super happy about this patch. And they're really pleased with it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of anything negative with this patch. I mean,
it's not a coincidence that it's our suggestions and others people's suggestions, obviously.
Yeah.
That made everyone this happy. That made their customers happy. What were you saying though? Sorry, go ahead.
No, yeah, there's like nothing wrong with this patch that I've seen other than like the few bugs they had when it first launched, like the minigun spawning in chests. And they had that patch within actually like an hour. It was crazy. It was so fast. It was out of the game. Like I'm pretty sure we said this before we even played the game when we were voice messaging each other. I was like, dude, this honestly looks like the best patch they've ever done for Warzone. Like they hit everything that we wanted and more. It was great.
Yep. Yeah. Fantastic. So what we're trying to say is this. You're welcome. You're welcome. Because we wrote this patch. We patched the game.
We did.
We might as well work at Raven. Maybe we don't get paid by Raven. Maybe we should get paid by Raven, but we don't.
We love Raven.
We don't. But we did write the patch. Because everything they changed are things we have explicitly said many times should be changed to make the game better. And what do you know? It made the game better. Hey, Warzone players, you're fucking welcome for giving you this patch. You're welcome. Hey, Raven, you're welcome. Hey, Raven Studio Head, I bet your publisher is real pleased with you because all the customers are happy. How are those store bundle sales going, bud? Pretty fucking good, I bet. I bet they're going pretty well since everyone's happy with the changes you've made on our account. So you're welcome. You're welcome, Raven. Hey, Activision. Again, how are those bundle sales doing? Good. You're welcome. You're welcome. And thank you for listening to the people who play the game. Now, Raven claimed that they play the game themselves. Now, do they? I don't know. I've never been invited. I've never been invited to a match. I've never been given thousands of COD points for our 1-year anniversary episode, for example.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
Hey,
sad.
Raven, stop the cap, okay? Don't tell us you play the game. You can tell us you listen to the Dropshot Call of Duty podcast, though. I'm kidding about that. Some of them probably play the game, I'm sure. But anyways, yeah. Activision, you're also welcome for delivering this patch to you on a silver platter, on a golden platter, really. So awesome. And everyone's happy about it. You guys are making more money. Everyone's boss is happy and the players are happy. Let's get started on the anti-cheat for sure. That's the next best thing you can do. But until then, good job. Good job. And we're happy about it. And I don't know who would be in charge of an anti-cheat, but it would probably have to be Activision, because I feel like that's going to require a lot of money. But anyways, it is cool on a very serious note that they would even listen to this dumb fucking podcast about this game. And by the way, are we capping? When they tell us language, that is confirmation that this is their favorite podcast, right?
I would think it wouldn't be a big deal if they were like always like responding to people on Twitter and liking shit. But the fact that they liked 2 of our tweets and responded on a day when they only responded to people with verified check marks. Pretty much, I scrolled through. You could see all of their liked tweets in the last 8 days in about 2 seconds because they don't like Mini, right? I don't know. It's a little weird. Why did they pick us, right? Out of all of the thousands and thousands of replies, how did they just so manage to see ours and like it? I don't know. It's not that crazy to think that somebody there has listened to the program, right? Now, I'm not saying fucking Bobby Kotick over Activision is listening to the program every day. No. But if you work for a company that designs a video game, I don't know about you. If I was a dev at one of these studios, I would research things on my own time and be like, okay, like what are people saying about this? And, you know, they're code monkeys. They're on a computer all day long. They have to listen to things, right?
Another good point.
Maybe a few of the devs searched something like Call of Duty podcast and they found it, right? And they listened and they changed what we wanted to be changed, right? It's not that crazy to think. I mean, if they have
crazy to think,
if they have 300 devs, no, 200 of them don't listen to the program. It wouldn't be surprising though if a few of them have listened to the program on occasion. Not saying every episode, on occasion though.
Yeah, I agree. It's all too much of a coincidence. So I think they listen. Yeah, I do. I really do. And that's cool. It's cool that they do. And it does make sense, like you said. I mean, you know, by the way, the devs at Raven are probably our age. At least many of them, you know, like late 20s, early 30s, maybe early 40s. But I don't think it is outside the realm of possibility. And all of the signs, to my eyes, point to the fact that they do. And obviously, we're saying a lot of these things tongue in cheek. I don't take credit for the fucking good patch. They did it.
No, I do. It was my patch, yeah.
But a lot of that shit is stuff we've been saying. And I haven't seen, depending on the note, depending on the change, some of that stuff I have not seen many other people advocating for, if any. The one that stood out to me the most, again, was we want this to require skill to get the really fast TTK point. That is a point I've not heard anywhere other than here. Not to say it's never been made. Sure it has. But it's certainly not something talked about by everyone like SBMM or something is. So, I don't know. Take what you will from that. But I will also say thank you for liking the tweets and replying. That was cool. That was very cool. As you can perhaps tell, we're super excited at the fact that we are your favorite content creators on Earth and that you listen to us. It's mandatory listening if you work at Raven to listen to each and every episode and bonus episode of the Dropshot of Call of Duty podcast. Thank you. Seriously, it made our fucking day. Maybe it made our week that you liked the dumb fucking tweet and that you told me to stop cussing or something.
You should stop cussing. Yeah, I agree.
Perhaps I should. Hey, Raven, why don't you DM me and ask nicely and I'll stop cussing, dude.
Yeah, we can stop just like that. Whatever you want us to do, buddy.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll end on this point. This is obviously a long shot, but of course, I'm going to take the long shot. You know the vibes. We are open to any and all collaboration, communication, etc. Whether it be with some individual, maybe you work at Raven, you're listening and you want to go rogue. And you want to say, hey guys, I'd love to be on the program for an interview to clear up some misconceptions, but make me anonymous. Cool. We would record offline, we would release it, and we would anonymize you. No problem. Actually, we're not going to burn someone like this. Or maybe you're like, hey, this would be good community outreach, so I'll join you guys live for a live interview.
Hey, we'll take
where I can clear up some misconceptions. And then some questions might be off limits or whatever. Let us know. We would respect that. Fine. I'm open to doing that. Obviously. Maybe you just want to tell us something and you don't want us to share that knowledge. I don't know why you would want to do that, but maybe you would. We're all ears and we would respect whatever you want to do. Anonymity, confidentiality. In all seriousness, as excited as this makes us that you liked and replied to our tweet because we're your favorite podcast on Earth, we would respect any whatever request for anonymity or confidentiality or whatever. So, Raven, if you want to do some community outreach, we'll get it done. We'll get it done. As you guys may know, if you're doing your due diligence about the market in which you operate, you might know the Dropshot of Call of Duty podcast, most popular Call of Duty podcast on planet Earth. So maybe it would behoove you to join us for an evening to talk about whatever the fuck you want to talk about. That's fine. I can stop cursing for an evening, for an episode.
We could
That's
do
what
it.
you want. We could do it. We could do that. We wouldn't ask for anything in return. We wouldn't ask for anything in return. So, do I expect you to take me up on this? Of course not. Absolutely not. Are any of you even going to hear this? Don't know. Maybe. But, again, I would be remiss to not at least throw it out there. So, if you listen to this episode, writer guy, throw in orthogonal. That would make me smile a lot. Better yet, DM us. Tweet at us publicly. I don't care. I don't care. What's the lead communication manager's name on Raven, by the way?
Yeah, we think he's the one that wrote the patch
on,
notes.
Yes,
I don't remember his name.
We follow him on Twitter, and he hasn't followed us back yet. Now,
he hasn't.
Let's get that done, right? What's this guy's fucking name? God damn it.
I'll find it. You just go to Raven's account. They'd only follow like 40 people.
Yes, yeah. So why don't you hit us with a follow back?
Alexi.
Shout out to
Comms
Alexi.
and community manager, Raven Software.
Hey, Alexi.
Great looking guy.
Give us that follow back. Handsome kid. Yeah.
Great looking guy, yeah.
At Razanon, at the Dropshot Pod, at Tanner Dropshot. Give us a follow. Give us a follow, dude. We'll make it worth your while, bud. Make it worth your while. And we won't stir up a hornet's nest. You know? We would do right by you, whatever you would want. Or don't. You don't have to, obviously. But anyways, I'd be remiss if I didn't at least throw it out there.
Yeah.
So.
What are the odds? Raven has a job opening for something like what he does.
Really?
Yeah, he posted a tweet about it. This was like 2 months ago. I'm looking for someone to join my team. It's a great opportunity to work with the crew at Raven Software. Did you take the job and didn't tell me? You wrote the patch notes, you son of a bitch.
Well, I could edit this out.
You son of a
could.
bitch.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Well, Raven, we love you. You're
Pretty crazy, dude.
You're the best development studio. We've said that for a long time, right?
yeah.
I mean, we've actually said that for a long time.
Yep.
So yeah, I think you should make your own game. You know what? Take over COD 2021 from Sledgehammer. I want you to make your own game. Let's do it.
True. So,
Let's do
anyways, shout out to Raven, friends of the pod. You know, we're their favorite podcast. Anything else, Tanner?
No.
Okay.
I
So
can hit
get
my
baited if you were
announcements.
listening for the jingle. We're gonna do it again. We did that on purpose to force all of you to listen to us brag about the Twitter clout we got.
Yeah, let me hit these real
Get
quick while
scammed,
we're
get
here. E110, thank you for the 5 gifted subs. Self high 5, tier 1 for 5 months. Gaming Boomer with another tier 1 gifted sub, and Debfire tier 1 10 months. Let's go, boys. Thank you very, very much, everyone. Dub, Gaming Boomer, Self High 5, E110, appreciate it.
Hell yeah, brothers. All right. Welcome to the show again, episode 131. Now we're actually going to get into the meat and potatoes of today's episode. Playlist updates, none. And straight into the topic. Again, we're going to do kind of a Warzone brainstorm. So I'll start by saying this is probably the best Warzone meta we've ever had. Now, that might be a little hasty to say because we don't really know exactly what the meta is yet. Obviously, the patch only happened yesterday, so people are still kind of experimenting. But even prior to yesterday's patch, no one was like certain about what the meta was, other than probably the AMAX. So the AMAX got changed, the Bullfrog got changed, the Farah got changed. I can't speak for the Farah, but the AMAX and the Bullfrog are still very much viable. And AMAX, you can still get the same TTK as prior to this patch, but it just requires some more accuracy. But theoretically, you can still kill just as quickly with an AMAX now as you could on the 6th. So that's a good way to change a weapon. You can hey, you guys can still kill just as fast, but aim better. It's kind of what we were talking about with effective TTK, but if you have higher skill, you can actually get it, etc. So AMAX still very viable. Bullfrog still very viable, even though they were changed because it was done well.
It was done by Raven. It was done well. Yeah.
Our favorite dev studio, and we're their favorite podcast. So in addition to a ton of other weapons still being very good, the Ram, of course, is the best gun in Warzone, and no one knows it somehow, even though I've been screaming it from the rooftops. Hey, Raven, don't nerf the Ram, please. Thank you. What are your thoughts on the meta so far, Tanner? Have you used the AMAX or the Bullfrog since the 7th?
I haven't used the Bullfrog, but I also never liked the Bullfrog personally. I know it's like one of everyone's favorites, it seems, but it hasn't worked that well for me. But AMAX still feels great. A lot of guns feel really good. It feels good to get on and play and have a bunch of experimental loadouts. Like yesterday, when we streamed, you streamed and we played Warzone for a few hours. I made like 7 new classes to experiment with. The last 3 months, maybe, I haven't been able to do that at all. I've been running whatever specific gun was the meta, because if you don't use that, you would get shit on. It's that simple. There are so many viable options right now. This is probably the best the weapon balance has ever been. It's like back at the start of Warzone, it's like the Grau or like M4 or something, they weren't insanely overpowered, but that's still just what everyone ran, right? Even though they weren't that busted, I don't think. They were better at range than everything else, especially the Grau, so that's what everyone ran. Yep. Right now, there are so many damn options. I see so many different guns all the time. It's like even people are still like, yo, Kilo smacks. I don't think the Kilo's good, but hey, if you think the Kilo's good, that's great. That means there's balance here, because we have to have that argument if a gun is good or not, because
Exactly.
because I think there's a bunch of better guns. It's still, the Kilo's viable for sure. I wouldn't use it personally, but the fact that people are like, dude, Kilo fucking slaps, that just shows you that there's really good weapon balance right now.
I agree. The fact that people are disagreeing means the balance is probably pretty good. Because when the Bruin was meta, guess who was debating what the best gun in Warzone was? Absolutely fucking no one. And now everyone's in a blender and confused, and that's good. On the Kilo, by the way, and the Growl, Raven, let's revert this dog shit extra damage drop off that these two guns have that no other gun has. Make it linear, just like most of the guns in Warzone, to where the farther you get away on a linear trajectory, the damage gets less and less. Let's not have a fucking steep damage drop off range that is like just completely guts the gun. Kilo's terrible now because it has this third damage drop off that no other gun has except the Growl, where it does like no fucking damage. It's very dumb. So let's take that out. I don't think it was you guys that patched that in.
I don't think it was either.
You guys have brains, but whoever the fuck was working on it, Infinity Ward, doesn't have brains. They can't even write patch notes. They probably didn't even know they changed the Kilo.
They didn't even mean to.
Yeah, it was probably an accident. So let's change that back for sure. No gun should have an extra damage drop-off range within a category that no other gun in that category has. That's insane. So, but anyways, yes, I agree with you, Tanner. On the Carve 2, the new tactical rifle, we had been saying that we were afraid that we were just going to enter another burst weapon hellscape.
Yeah.
Because in Cold War, the Carve 2 has less recoil and a faster fire rate than the M16 and the AUG. And if that was the case in Warzone, it would be disgusting. But it has quite a bit of recoil, actually, in Warzone. And I used it for a couple games with an Axial Arms 3X. And what it seemed like to me was it did feel like it killed really quickly, but I didn't play with it enough to really get that sense of like if it's actually a fast killing gun or not. But the thing I can immediately tell you is that it has enough recoil to where it's simply not going to be good at long range. It's never going to do what an M16 can do. Never. So it's not overpowered in that sense.
Yeah.
The Carve 2 is either fine or underpowered, if anything. But I don't think it's OP. I would find it shocking that if that became meta. Have you used it at all, Tanner? I'm assuming not, right?
No, I haven't even unlocked it. And honestly, I don't want to, because I don't want to use a burst weapon again. I'm actually scarred from the AUG and the M16 that I don't want a burst meta to come back. Hey, so I just won't unlock it and just pretend it's not there, right? That's what I'm going to do. So no, I haven't used the Carve 2.
Have you been killed by it?
I've never seen it in Warzone yet. No.
Yeah.
I haven't. I've seen it in
right.
Cold War yesterday when I was attempting to play Cold War to level up the LC-10. I saw it, but yeah, not on. I haven't been killed by it in Warzone. Have you? Have you seen it in Warzone actually?
Maybe 3 times. Yeah.
Cool. That's great.
Very
then.
rarely.
Yeah. Then it's not meta. Cool. That. Yeah, that's great.
It's definitely not meta. No.
Yeah.
But it is possible that it's going to be really good up close or close-ish. So like I put on like a red dot, so I'm going to give that a go. Cuz maybe it'll be good at like medium range.
Yeah,
but it's not a gun you want to snipe with, cuz then if you're in a building, you're going to get fucked. So you would just have to pair it with like a sub, and then you'd be lacking any long range potential really, which could be fine, but that's I think the only way that's going to be a good gun to use, if at all, is going to be with a red dot. Also, with the nerf of all the Cold War stocks, gone are the days for now of double AR. This means that you won't ever use an AR as an SMG, which means every AR use case is going to be as either your primary with like a 3x optic, like we've seen since Warzone launched, or as like a sniper companion, which means it needs to be decent at point blank range and capable at medium range. And this disqualifies a lot of Cold War ARs, in my opinion. Like the Cold War AK, for example. Why would I ever use it now at this point? As they said in the patch notes, slow rate of fire, they were referring to the AMAX, but it's true for the Cold War AK. It has a slow, unforgiving rate of fire. So even if it does a lot of damage, I'm not using it with a sniper. I've tried a lot. Fires too slowly. And it has too much recoil for me to use instead of as like a long range AR with an optic on it, like I would use an AMAX, for example. Therefore, there's no reason to ever use the Cold War AK. And I think I think that is going to be true for a lot of the Cold War ARs, especially now that the stocks got nerfed. It makes every Cold War AR even less appealing.
Yeah.
Or interesting to use. Are there any Cold War ARs that you would even use, Tanner?
I mean, plenty of them are decent and usable now at like, I would call it not close range, but in between like close and medium range. That's what I think they're usable for, and they work and they're viable. Other than that, there's no reason to be using a Cold War AR as like an SMG these days. No, none whatsoever.
Yeah, none whatsoever.
Yeah, I mean, they're okay, but I'm at the point now, since SMGs are viable again, that I'm just back using SMGs. And I prefer that because I like the faster movement speed. They're just more fun to use, I think. I love running around with like a high fire rate SMG.
Yep.
And yeah, that whole change was interesting to me, by the way, like with the movement speed on the stocks and everything. That was one of the things I didn't expect, and I was very excited to see, because there haven't been too many, if any, Warzone patches where they've done something that I'm like, holy shit, that's a great change. I've known that's been a thing, like using Cold War ARs as an SMG, but it wasn't something I ever expected them to patch. And it was excellent, and I'm so glad they did it. So glad.
True.
So that's what was cool about this patch, is seeing things change that were great, that I wasn't even really bitching about necessarily, but it was a great change, and now I'm really glad they did it.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Totally.
So, I mean, I guess we can give credit to those ones for those changes, to like JGod and True Game Data, I guess. We'll give them credit for that one. We'll take credit for the other things, right?
To be fair, we also talked a lot about the reason the FFAR is so busted is that fucking radar pad where you can just zoom around people in circles.
Mm-hmm.
To be fair, we were also saying this, but yeah, we were hey, we weren't the only ones to figure out you fucking fly when you're shooting with an FFAR with a radar pad on it. But yeah, true. It very good change. But the problem now is like, okay, cool. You nerfed the stocks for the Cold War ARs, everything Cold War actually, which is fine. I think it needed to be that way, because the strafe speed on FFAR versus a RAM was just indescribable. I mean, the delta there was just giant. So something needed to give there. So it's a good change, but now the question is, why use any Cold War assault rifles? And what I suspect, if Raven continues to patch things in the way that they're leading on, to try and make every weapon viable, as they said, and occupies a particular niche, I suspect we are going to be seeing a lot more Cold War assault rifle changes to make them more viable in the future, but not because they're disgustingly overpowered like the FFAR, but rather for some other reason. And I'm not sure what that would be.
Recoil reduction.
Recoil reduction for sure would help.
Across the board would help a lot.
I agree. They tend to have a lot more recoil than the MW ones.
And just a little bit higher bullet velocity. 10 to 20% more bullet velocity.
Yep. True.
Then though, if they do that, that could get to the point where Cold War assault rifles maybe are overpowered. Because it's like right now, like I was saying, they kind of serve a purpose for like that medium range, those medium range gunfights, like close to medium. But other than that, not really. So, you know, they're essentially they're definitely less useful than they were before. Despite me liking this change, they're still less useful overall as guns.
Oh,
I think.
of course. Yeah, I agree. I don't think they're yeah, I mean, I don't think there's a single Cold War assault rifle that I would ever use. Because in any situation where I would consider using a Cold War AR, I'll run an MW AR instead, and it's going to be better than a Cold War AR at whatever the thing is that I want it to do. That's kind of what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So but again, what I expect to happen pretty soon, hopefully, is Raven will address that by making Cold War ARs attractive again for some other reason other than insane strafe speed. So I'm curious to see what they'll change to make that happen. And that'll be interesting. But another thing too is like, how many ARs are in Warzone right now? 20? 25? You're not going to make 20 or 25 unique ARs.
Not 25.
It's not possible.
Probably like 15, 20 at the absolute most.
Okay, sure. But you're not going to make 15 ARs or 20 ARs unique.
Yeah,
they're not,
true.
It's not possible. So like, I am interested to see what they do and how they do it. But I'd rather have 5 guns that are basically the same, but they're all viable, rather than half the guns, the ones from Cold War, being not worth using. And I expect they're going to do that in some capacity, somehow. So, also, now, onto SMGs. As many others have pointed out, a ton of SMGs are viable now. Interestingly, this is kind of the opposite of the assault rifle case. Because for assault rifles, I would never consider using a Cold War AR. For SMGs, I would never consider using an MW SMG. Right? Maybe an MW MP5, but other than that, you could also make a case for the Fennec if you're playing like solos, because it has a disgusting time to kill. But other than that, why would I use any MW SMG when the MAC-10 exists, when the LC-10 exists, when the AK-74U exists, which we'll get into, etc.? What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, Modern Warfare MP5 is pretty much the only SMG I like. Actually, it's pretty much the only Modern Warfare SMG I ever used in Warzone, I think. But yeah, SMGs I think are in a great spot right now. 74U I haven't tried. MAC-10 is still great. Cold War MP5 great up close. Modern Warfare MP5 great if you just want to hip fire. Go back to that hip fire meta we had. LC-10 I shat on for a while. I leveled it up fully in Plunder today. Feels pretty good. Now, it was Plunder, wasn't Battle Royale. So usually the people I was fighting probably had one less plate. A lot of times they are fully plated. But LC-10 was feeling nice. And what it seemed like to me, by the way, that LC-10, it's like the Cold War MP7.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is. But yeah, SMGs I think are in a great spot right now, but Cold War definitely dominates the SMGs, which is fine because, assault rifles are pretty much dominated by Modern Warfare guns. So I think this is a fair trade-off. I like it.
Yep. Totally agree. And if we can pull up this chart, Tanner, for the viewers to see here. This is a chart of many of the SMGs in this game. This is the time to kill if you're getting headshots and the enemy is fully plated. And the attachments each of these guns has for the purposes of this chart is monolithic and or agency suppressor and the best barrel you can get. So this is effectively what attachments you would use. And here's the time to kill charts. Now, some interesting thoughts here. First of all, Cold War MP5 has the fastest time to kill of any SMG inside of, besides, again, the Fennec, which is not practical for anything other than solos and
it's
maybe
like the ASML.
duos.
It's great, but you can't use
yeah.
it in like trios or quads, which is, I think, what most people play.
Correct. So, besides that, Cold War MP5 kills the fastest inside 12 meters. Not by too much, by the way, but it does. And then second place is the MW MP5, which kills a little slower inside 12 meters, but it's the second fastest. And then you have the MAC-10, the AK-74U, and the LC-10, all kind of tied. And what's interesting here is the MAC-10 has a damage drop-off at 18 meters, the AK-74U at 22 meters, the LC-10 at 25 meters. And then it kind of doesn't matter at that point anyway. But what you get with the MAC-10, for example, it has the first damage drop-off of these three options, but before its first damage drop-off, it kills the fastest. AK-74U is the second damage drop-off, so it keeps that first damage range for a couple more meters. But then inside of that first damage range, it's a little slower than the MAC-10, but faster than the LC-10, and the trend continues. LC-10's first damage range goes for longer, all the way to 25, but it's the slowest TTK inside 25 of those three. Technically inside 18, but if you look at the graph, it makes more sense. This means all five of these options shown on screen are attractive. Now, one thing I was using was the Cold War MP5 a lot.
Yep.
And I was noticing, actually, that it fucking shreds inside 12 meters, like really fast. But as soon as someone's outside of it, it feels slow.
Slow. Well, and it's hard to control. That's what this chart isn't showing you, is it's... yeah, I think it's the hardest SMG out of all of these to control past like 15 meters. Yeah,
yes,
absolutely.
I would say so. Yeah. That's another good point too. But like, I was really liking the Cold War MP5, but it was very obvious that if I wasn't inside 12 meters, it takes a lot longer to kill. So then I was trying the LC-10, which I really like, because it has that first damage range all the way out to like 24 meters. Which is really good, and it's laser accurate.
Not a lot of recoil at all.
Yeah, very little recoil. But you know, inside of like 18 meters, it kills slower than an AK-74U, a MAC-10, or either MP5, but not much slower. So the LC-10 I was trying a lot, and I was doing very well with it. Very well. And I was sniping with it mostly. So I would be fighting people at 25, 30 meters. And that's where that's a good SMG to have. Because now it's better than all the other ones.
Yeah.
So you've used the LC-10 and the Cold War MP5. Have you used recently anything else on this chart?
I've used the Modern Warfare MP5. I haven't used the Mac recently, but I know the Mac still feels like what it did last time I used it. So that's on my list to test out to see how I like it now compared to the other guns. But I honestly feel like the most well-rounded SMG right now is probably the LC-10. Even though it doesn't kill the fastest up close, I think it kind of depends on your playstyle. If you're a rushing chimp, I think the Cold War MP5 is the best for you. But you have to get close to them. And it kills really fast up close if you can do that. If you hate ADSing and also are a rusher, then I would use the Modern Warfare MP5. Super easy to control, a lot less recoil. So it doesn't do good out at range, but it's a lot easier to control even than the Cold War MP5. But LC-10, like you were saying, it has the longest range out to 22 meters. And then after that, it's pretty much in line with all the other ones. But the difference with it is it's really easy to control, and it has good irons where you can just...
That's true, too.
You can shoot out to those ranges, no problem. I mean, it has excellent irons. So it's like you can easily track people when they're far away. Like, sure, it's the time to kill isn't the best when like at those ranges, but it's so easy to control.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, yeah, they're all really good though. They have different uses, and actually, it truly at this point, with how everything is so balanced, it's kind of just dependent on what you feel like playing with. Like the other day, like I was playing with all of these, except for the LC tanks. I didn't have it maxed. Now it is. But like I was playing around with all these, and they were all fun to use. Like I couldn't, it's hard to pick one because they're all fun.
I agree.
They have their own
I
uses. It
agree.
kind of depends. If like I didn't have a very good game with the Cold War MP5, like I lost that last gunfight at the end of the game, I'm gonna try something else out. So I would, because that's what you can do right now.
Yep, for sure, for sure. And I totally agree. It just actually depends. Like the best SMG, literally at the end of the day, it comes down to how far away your enemy is. Because like each gun is the best in like a small damage range or whatever, and it's very cool. I really like it. So that's awesome. The only gun, so one of the kind of middle of the road options, it doesn't have the most range and it doesn't have the fastest time to kill, but it has good range and it has good time to kill. It's not the best at anything, but it's a perfect middle ground between an LC-10 and a Cold War MP5. Is two guns. MAC-10 is smack in the middle, and then AK-74U is just a little more range than a MAC-10 and a tiny bit slower TTK. That's the only gun in this suite that I have not really tried yet. I was fucking around with it in Plunder, but and I was just destroying people, but everyone who plays Plunder is dog shit, so that doesn't mean anything.
Yeah.
So I am excited to try the AK-74U in Verdansk. Very excited, actually. And it's one of those guns that has excellent irons too. So
Really? I don't like the 74U in this game because it looks ugly and it sounds ugly. Those are my problems with it, right?
Really?
I don't really love the irons on it either. I don't know. It makes me furious as to how bad it is. Like how bad it looks and sounds compared to Call of Duty 4. I mean, it
does sound awful.
It's just awful. Yeah. It's the worst.
Yeah. Yeah. Are you only hearing me out of one ear? Or is that just because you only have one headphone in? Because I'm going to be furious if Tanner fucked up the audio and you're only hearing, there's only audio in one ear. You're hearing me in both of your dumb ears, Tanner, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, cool. Thank you. Scared me there, buddy. But yeah, I'm excited to try the AK-74U, and that's like next on my agenda. What about akimbo M19s? This is something I had totally forgotten about. However, JGod, I think, tweeted, oh, there's like a ton of secondary weapon options now. And included in his list was akimbo M19s, and I was like, oh, I forgot about those. But they're fucking disgusting.
Yeah, they're
insane. They're insane. No one ever uses them, of course. But those are something worth trying now. I got this idea from Syrian, F's in the chat, for twitch.tv/Syritron, of course, my favorite broadcaster. He likes to use the akimbo M19s. There's no fucking full auto, but they have a disgusting fire rate. And then you have two of them, and you got 32 rounds in each one. Suddenly, you're just raping kids. No Epstein. Real fucking fast. Now, this was in multiplayer. I've never actually tried this in Warzone, but I think it would have a very good time to kill. Would you ever use akimbo pistols in Warzone, or do you not like their lack of versatility?
Yeah, I don't like them in Warzone. I know they kill fast up close, but also it's like I don't want to have to worry about pressing two buttons at once to shoot people, right? And I don't like that they're only usable within like 8 meters pretty much. You know, I mean, you'll just get shredded if anyone's further than that. They have no use. So it's like, even if you run into a building, and if the building is kind of big, it's bigger than a small house or something, somebody's on the other side of it, you're going to die to them. You're just dead before you can even react, really.
True.
So, yeah,
True.
It's a great time to kill, but not very usable.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I just thought it was an interesting thought, so I wanted to bring it up. Side note. I would like to see the KSP get some love, I think. So the KSP is a burst fire submachine gun. For those of you who played Black Ops 4, you would be familiar with this concept. Now, the KSP is not the Daemon. That was the Black Ops 4 burst fire submachine gun. And
My
what's
favorite
interesting about the Daemon is it was fucking disgustingly overpowered. Now the KSP is good in Cold War. Very good, actually. It can one burst, which the Daemon never could. But in Warzone, it's complete dog shit. I ran the numbers this afternoon. It's awful. I think I would like to see the KSP get some love. Raven, I know you listen because we're your favorite podcast. Here's my proposition to you. Here's what you do to the KSP. Have the TTK be virtually identical to like a Mac 10, for example. How do you do that? Well, you either increase the fire rate or you increase the damage. You can pick. I'm not a fucking dev. I don't know. But however it's done, have the TTK be like very similar or identical to a Mac 10. And then the only difference is that you make the first damage drop off fucking 28 meters. So the advantage of the KSP as a submachine gun would be really far initial damage range. And then the disadvantage would be obviously it's burst fire and you can't just hold down the trigger. So then it would be competitive, worth using. It would, as you put it, and you put it how I put it, by the way, because you're a fan, it would occupy its own niche. It's like, okay, do you want an SMG with a competitive time to kill that has really good range? And the downside is it's more difficult to use because it's burst fire. KSP is right there for you. I think that would be a good change to the KSP to make it a viable option that would, again, occupy a niche, but it wouldn't be like overpowered. What are your thoughts on that proposition, Tanner?
I think I agree with that. The thing about if you're using a burst SMG, that is going to take a little bit more skill up close to use if you have to worry about firing a burst weapon. So if it doesn't have like a broken time to kill or something, I would be totally fine with that. I'd be open to them buffing it. My thoughts are a burst SMG in a video game would fit well as like a longer range SMG. That's what I think.
Yeah.
So it shouldn't be insane up close. But it should, it should do good damage. Again, similar to like a LC-10, MP7 or something at like medium ranges, and should be easy enough to control where you can hit those shots as a burst SMG. So yeah, it's that's one SMG I don't think ever seen in Warzone, ever.
Mm-hmm. I tried it once and it was the worst gun I've ever used in Warzone.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, let me change this class back out. Because I died instantly, of course. So we left and then I changed it to a different gun. And again, I ran the numbers today. The time to kill's awful on it. Holy shit. Awful. Yeah. So that would be cool. So let's change the KSP, Raven. You know the vibes. Now, the car and the SPR onto snipers are still just disgusting. They're unchanged. And now that, again, there's no M16 or AUG, and luckily no Carv 2 to fuck your ass from afar, then snipers are actually worth using again. Now I'm seeing more snipers, by the way. Now I'm really seeing more snipers, yeah.
Well, I saw 1 million gold Car 98s in Plunder today, so yeah.
yeah. But yeah, yesterday we saw a bunch of snipers. Quite a few snipers, more than before those tac rifle nerfs. Which is unsurprising. Sure. Yeah, which is unsurprising. The ZRG is still the only Cold War sniper worth using, however. But as the notes mentioned, tac lasers will be coming to Cold War snipers soon. Now you might be thinking, they never said tac lasers are coming. Hey, think. Use your dumb brain. Because they said, in relationship to Cold War snipers, we're going to be adding a very popular attachment to Cold War snipers soon.
Yeah.
It's a tac laser. That's what they're talking about.
Yeah, I don't know what else it'd be.
Yeah. So those will be coming soon, which will be very interesting. And some love for the optics. They also mentioned. This will be super interesting, and we may finally get something to compete with the car for fast ADS snipers. Now, one thing Raven did not mention, which unironically they need to change, is that they either need to increase the flinch every MW gun, every MW sniper has by 300%, or decrease the flinch every Cold War sniper has by 300%, because the flinch on Cold War snipers is so much more than MW snipers.
Yeah.
And if you wanted to make like the Pellington, for example, be a contender to compete with the car for like fast ADSing sniper, then a sniper that's going to be fast ADS, quick scope, closer range sniper like that, it's going to be very important that it not have the crazy fucking flinch it has right now. Because like on an HDR, if I had a bunch of flinch, or like on the ZRG, it has a bunch of flinch, but that's fine. Because I'm sniping people at 5 kilometers anyway. They're not going to shoot me. But if I was using it at 100 meters, I'm probably going to be getting shot sometimes. So having a bunch of flinch will actually be a deal breaker.
Yeah.
So hopefully those changes come sooner rather than later. And hopefully they don't forget about the flinch as well. Do you see... once they add tac laser and once they fix the optics, do you see any Cold War snipers being worth using? Oh, and the Barrett too.
Yeah. I don't know if just doing that though would make them worth using over like a car specifically, you know? I will say though, I picked up somebody's Pellington in Plunder today because I was camping at the top of ATC fighting this trio squad over and over. They kept landing there and I was dunking on them. And one of them had this gold Pellington and it was nasty, dude. It felt like it had really, really good bullet velocity actually.
What kind of optic was he using? Just the default?
No, I don't know what it was because he had like a weird reticle on it too. But it was probably like a 4 times is what it was. And
okay.
It had an odd reticle, but I actually surprised myself. I got 2 kills from really far away and I was like, dude, that felt like hit scan. The bullet velocity felt really good from where I was. So it'd be interesting to like compare it there from a Car 98 because I don't know, the car lately, I feel like the bullet velocity got hit or the damage drop off at range, something got hit, I swear to God. I'm getting more hit markers with it, which is why I started messing around with the SPR the other day. But yeah, it's mostly just the bullet velocity in the car has felt like ass lately. I don't know why. So maybe Raven changed it. Raven, DM us if you changed it. Let us know. We'll let the people know. Or just put it in the next set of patch notes. But yeah, so the Pellington was feeling nice there. So, you know, if the Pellington becomes usable, cool, that'd be great. But yeah, the 2 things I need to fix are the scopes, the optics, and the flinch. Exactly. I mean, those 2 things would make it a lot better. I don't know if it would compete with any of the Cold War, I mean, with any of the Modern Warfare snipers though, aside from the ZRG. But they'd be at least fun to use, and I think they would fit into the meta some way.
Yep. Yeah. I agree. I don't know what the Tundra would do. Honestly, I feel like the Tundra is going to be in the same spot as the AX50, where it's just like,
you think?
It's like you'd either use an HDR or a car, and then the Tundra, it would be like you'd either use a Pellington or a ZRG.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I don't know, but all the other ones I could see doing their own thing, like the Barrett's semi-auto. So if you want to do that, you can. And then the Pellington would be like the quick scoping one. And then the ZRG is the HDR one, obviously. But yeah, we'll see. I'm excited for this though, because I've been sniping a lot for a couple months now. It's really fun. And I would be very pleased with more options. Excuse me, more options.
Yeah.
Because really right now it's like car, SPR, HDR, ZRG. So if we added Pellington, Barrett, I guess it would just be those 2 and maybe Tundra, although I kind of doubt it. That would be cool. Just some more options. That would be dope. So yes, that is kind of the state of snipers. Snipers haven't changed much. but the meta around them changed because now they're not being outcompeted at sniper ranges, so now they're worth using. So that's interesting. It's changed the landscape, even if the guns themselves didn't change, because as we talk about, the strength of a gun is completely relational to other guns in the game.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as an objectively strong gun. It's always relative to other guns that other people may or may not have. So, another note here. I wonder if Raven can make LMGs worth using again. And also, do we want that? What are your thoughts?
LMGs are fine, as long as they have, so they have a ton of ammo. So they either need more recoil, they need awful movement speed, which they already pretty much have, which is mostly why people don't use them, actually, is because the handling speed is so bad.
Yep.
Yeah, recoil. I don't know. That's really... I don't know if I really want an LMG meta, to be honest. I don't want people just like sitting on a rooftop with like a 100 round, 200 round mag, just camping it and just spraying you down. Because it's like, if you're like running in a field or something, somebody starts shooting, they miss enough shots, they have to reload. By that time, you can get behind cover. If somebody has an LMG and they're just camping somewhere, up to 200 rounds just spraying at you, it's like there's not much you can do. Even if they're shit, they're going to like have you pinned down, and it kind of just puts you in like these, bad situations, I think. So that being said, though, I don't think the LMGs are that bad right now. I still see a lot of people, well, not a lot of people, but I've seen people running the stoner. Doesn't seem that bad. It's usable, I think. And the
OP Marked, friend of the pod, was using a stoner today.
Oh yeah, he has been using it for like last week. You're right. Yeah, he's one of the main people I saw using it. PKM, also nasty. PKM still good. The other one, I know Grim a few weeks ago was running the Bruin, and he dropped like 18 kills running the Bruin, so that was looking nice too. So I do think LMGs are okay where they're at, but there's no reason to really run it right now over an AR. But yeah, like you're saying, I don't think I really want that. LMG metas to me just aren't fun. I don't want to have one again. I like ARs, SMGs, snipers.
Yeah, I'm conflicted on this because I really like using LMGs, but it's because they're so fucking strong, which is not exactly what you want for a meta. And what else is interesting about LMGs is they are the only primary weapon category that has never been meta. We've had meta ARs, SMGs, snipers, shotguns, and marksman rifles. Never had a meta LMG. Now, you could say the Bruin, but the reason the Bruin was meta was because it had the detachable 60-round mag that made it handle literally faster than a kilo.
Yeah.
So it was really just another AR, actually.
True.
There's never been an actual LMG that's been meta. And I'm kind of with you, because what would you have to do to make an LMG meta? Because if you look at a PKM, it's not meta, but you wouldn't be able to know that from the stat line. Damage is disgusting. Damage range is disgusting. Very little recoil. It kills fucking quick. MG34 still kills faster than almost everything in the game. No one fucking uses it. So what would you have to do to make an LMG meta? You just have to make it overpowered in some way. And I kind of agree with you. I don't think I want that. But I don't know. It's just weird. I don't know if we'll ever see an LMG meta, like a traditional LMG meta. But I think I am okay with that. I think you're right.
Yeah, not if it's like
the Finn was never meta, by the way. That's
I don't news. That's what I'm trying to think. When was the Finn meta?
Never.
I remember going through a phase where some people were using the Finn, but I never remember it being like a busted meta gun at all.
It wasn't. Yeah.
I don't think I ever even used the Finn in Warzone, so it must not have been that meta.
You'd either put on the like rapid fire barrel and then it would not be good at range because it had too much recoil. Or you wouldn't put on the rapid fire barrel and then it would be way too slow time to kill and you just get shit on by whatever the meta was, kilo at the time.
Yeah.
So Yeah, that's just fake news. But cool. Atmos. I don't know. It was good in multiplayer, but it was never good in Warzone. But anyways, yeah, I'm kind of with you there. So we'll see. And then I guess we'll end on this note. What have we been using? So I use primarily 3 types of loadouts. I think Tanner only uses these 3 types as well, although maybe he uses another one. So basically, loadout A, B, and C. A being AR SMG, loadout B being close range sniper plus secondary, and loadout C being long range sniper plus a secondary. Loadout A, RAM and the LC-10. Now the RAM, as I've said, is the best gun in the game right now. It's the best, most well-rounded gun in Warzone, period. And not only is this correct, but it's not an opinion. It's a statement of fact. The RAM is in fact the best gun in Warzone. Simple. So RAM with a VLK Commando 50 round Ranger barrel mono suppressor. Done. Oh, cool. You just found the best gun in the game. Awesome. The RAM number 1. And then pair that with an SMG. LC-10, maybe MAC-10 would probably be better, actually. RAM plus a MAC-10. So I think a MAC-10 is going to be a little better than an LC-10 indoors. It definitely will be. It has a faster time to kill. And it also has a decent damage range before its first drop off, to where if someone's outside of that range, then I can just use the RAM at that point. So I think the MAC-10 would provide me with optimal minimal overlap to where I'm going to be very competitive at any range. So that's my number 1 loadout. Tanner, what about hold on, you fucked up the order.
Huh?
Well, whatever.
What are you
Go
talking
ahead.
about?
What about your loadout A?
What do you mean I fucked up the order?
Your loadout B should be in your loadout A section.
Why does
See
it
what I'm
matter?
saying?
I just thought we were listing 3 loadouts. I don't get too in depth with them. They're loadouts for me.
Okay, cool. Go ahead.
I don't even have a primary loadout right now. That's why I was using 7 different loadouts yesterday, right? I don't have a fucking primary because I don't like the RAM. I don't. I've tried using it. I don't like it. It's that simple. So one loadout I've been messing with is the Cold War MP5, super close range, fast time to kill, and the Kar 98. And the reason I compare those that way is because the Kar 98 has such good handling. So easy to use that I can get away using that at close ranges, even that are very close, but too far for the Cold War MP5. 20 meters, something. Bust out the Kar 98, get it down, or hit them once, get them one shot, and then finish them with the Cold War MP5. Yep. So yeah, it absolutely dominates. I can push buildings, get inside, get easy kills that way. I can get snipes, long distance, medium distance, close range, quick scopes. It kind of has everything. So that's been a fun loadout to run lately for me.
I would say that loadout requires you be pretty good with a car, because if someone's at 25 meters and you don't land a first shot with the car, you're fucked.
You're probably
you
dead,
have to hit that first shot.
Yeah.
So this can work really well, but you have to be very comfortable with your car. Because otherwise there's going to be a lot of awkward no man's land space. So you have to be comfortable using a car, like Tanner said, 20 to 20 meters plus, not 40 meters plus, like you're probably used to. So that's just something to consider.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
No, it's just like, yeah, you were even, one of my clips the other day with an SPR, you were like, why would you even pull out the SPR there? But it's because like I play that way more and I pull out snipers at like a closer range than you would. So yeah, it's like if you're good with a car, it's a great class. I recommend trying that. It's fun to use. But yeah, if you're going to miss shots with the Kar 98, then don't use it. Actually.
Yeah. If you're less comfortable with a car, then don't pair it with, I would say if you're less comfortable fucking quick scoping kids at 20 meters with a car, then you can still run an SMG, but just make it an LC-10 because you're going to get way more damage range out of that. So then you can just use the LC-10 at 20 meters instead. And you're still going to be inside your first damage range. So the LC-10 is going to be very good.
Yeah.
What you'd miss out on there is the ability to absolutely rape inside of 12 meters, because the LC-10 is going to be way slower than a Cold War MP5 at that range. So that's the advantage of Tanner's loadout. But the disadvantage, again, is that 20 meters can be awkward if you're not hitting those car shots. So now, loadout B. Mine has been, this is my close range sniper, which is a car or an SPR, basically, with the secondary. Car and LC-10. Now, normally, what I used to do was use a car, which is like a sniper, obviously, with an assault rifle that's geared out for close quarters. However, the LC-10 has good enough range and is very easy to control, such that I'm comfortable using the LC-10 at like assault rifle ranges. Not all assault rifle ranges, but like pretty close. Like LC-10 up to like actually 25 meters, 30 meters is going to be usable.
Yeah.
And then it's still going to be competitive in a building, even though it's going to lose to like a Cold War MP5. And then the Car 98 is, you know, again, a kind of close range sniper. So I don't need an AR with a VLK, because if they're at 40 meters, I'll take out my car. So that's been a loadout I've been having a fucking blast with.
That's a good loadout. That's probably one of the next ones I'll test out here now that I got the LC-10 leveled up. That would be fun.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, so one of my loadout B here is, this is what I call the classic, right? This
the
is
classic, huh? Yeah, this is the throwback.
This is the throwback. This is the classic. Pretty simple. Modern Warfare MP5 and AMAX. Two guns you can depend on for almost any situation. Modern Warfare MP5, you can run into a building, hip firing. You'll hit all of your hip fire shots from 20 meters away. You won't miss one. Doesn't have the best time to kill now, compared to other things, but it's just so easy to use. Recoil is very manageable. We've all used it a ton, so we know exactly how it, how to control it, what it's going to do. And AMAX still hits at those long ranges, even with that slight damage nerf. So AMAX is probably the best. Yeah, it is the best long range assault rifle in Warzone. So you kind of have all situations there. AMAX goes from medium to long range. Modern Warfare MP5 covers everything up close. And the AMAX also kills very fast up close. If you're in that situation where you have to use it, it's not ideal, because I have this setup with a VLK, so you don't want to use it close range, but you can, and it kills very fast.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that's a classic loadout. It's still good. Modern Warfare MP5 has never been bad in Warzone, ever. It just hasn't been that usable lately because of like the FFAR and stuff, because it killed that much faster than every other gun, not even just the Modern Warfare MP5. But so now that we're in this, we're in this well-balanced meta right now, Modern Warfare MP5 is very usable.
Agreed. 1,000% agreed. Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, again, as Tanner said, even after the changes to the AMAX yesterday, it is still absolutely worth using. Absolutely worth using. You're not going to notice that it changed in a lot of gunfights. Like in a lot of gunfights, you're going to be like, that felt like pre-nerf AMAX. So like, yeah, it's still absolutely viable, for sure. So, which is again, a testament to Raven with this patch, because we patched the game as we went over. And then loadout C, this is my long range sniper and companion class. And this is the ZRG 20 millimeter, which is the Cold War sniper, that I have dark matter, and Tanner doesn't have dark matter. Don't ever let him fool you, and don't let him forget. So it's a dark matter ZRG with a RAM. And then the RAM in this configuration,
it's crazy.
The only thing I changed about the RAM for this configuration is I dropped the VLK and I put on a hollow.
Yeah.
And then everything else is the same. Commando, Ranger, Mono, 50 round. So the advantage of this is that I have extreme long range covered, and I have medium range super covered, and I'm competent close. But let me be clear, you don't want to be in a building with a Cold War MP5 if you have a RAM with a fucking hollow on it.
It's not ideal.
Yeah, you're not thrilled with
You
that
can make it
happens.
work if you get the first 3 shots on them, right? Before
Yes.
before they shoot
Yeah.
you.
Yes. The reason a ram is good for this is because, again, it's the best weapon in the game. It has a fast fire rate and pretty good handling for an AR. So you can ADS pretty quick. You can sprint to fire pretty quick. And it is forgiving at close range relative to other ARs because the rate of fire is so high. So if you miss a couple shots, another bullet's coming right up.
Yeah.
It's not like, again, the Cold War AK, for example, where if you miss a shot, it's going to be 20 minutes until another one fires out of your stupid fucking barrel. The RAM has a very fast fire rate. So it's like pretty fucking good up close. The weakness here is that, like, again, in buildings, extreme close range, obviously you'd rather have an SMG than an AR. But the RAM is perfectly competent. And then the hollow makes it easier to fight in a building if you have to, or fight pretty close if you have to.
Yeah.
But the hollow also zooms enough to where you can use it at a like pretty long ranges, if necessary. And then once they're outside of hollow range, that's why you have a ZRG. That's why you set it up this way. So.
Cool. Yeah, so that sounds like a pretty good class. I did try the RAM with the hollow, by the way. I don't know. I got in like a couple gunfights with it up close and I lost. I don't remember what they were using, but I got killed pretty damn quick and I was like, holy shit, this is just... I mean, they were like point blank ranges, so they must have been using some sort of SMG. Just couldn't do anything. No way I could compete with them. But yeah, my loadout C, this is kind of my experimental loadout been running. This is the MP7 and the SPR. 2 guns I don't run much in Warzone at all. So SPR, really fun to use. It sounds so good. It feels great. Has a great reload speed. I mean, it has a great bullet velocity. I don't know what it is. I just feel like I end up getting a lot of hit markers with it. That's my only issue with it. You know, it has a much worse ADS than the Kar 98, so I can't use it for those like real close quick scopes, which is why I pair it with an MP7, and I think this setup works well together.
Yeah.
You don't have to end up getting a ton of kills with the MP7, honestly, because I usually just dink everyone with the SPR, right? But when they're at like, when they're like 20, 30 meters away, MP7 is completely viable. I can get some shots on them, get them downed, get the finish. Or if I get a down like at a medium range with the SPR, I have the movement speed still with the MP7 to get into a spot where I can finish the kill. And it's easy to control. It's just an easy gun to use. You get a lot of ammo. You get 60 bullets.
Yeah, that's true too.
It's just a laser beam. So yeah, so the MP7, again, like the RAM with the hollow, if I run into a building and the other guys have an SA-12 shotgun, a Cold War MP5, a Modern Warfare MP5, whatever, oh, I'm done. I'm dead, right? I should log out, actually. I should disconnect from the game because I'm going to die with the MP7.
Yeah.
But that's fine. It's the risk I take. MP7 gives me those longer distances that almost no other SMG can handle. It's very similar to the LC10, but it's even easier to control than the LC10. So that's been my experimental class. SPR, I want to love it. Just, I don't know. Sometimes it lets me down, dude. It just lets me down too many times. But I was doing really well with it yesterday. I got some clips I uploaded for Hash using it. So maybe you guys will see him in a best of the month. We'll see.
We'll fucking see for sure. Yeah. I would recommend you try also LC10 SPR.
Yeah.
LC10
I will be doing that for sure.
It does a similar thing to the MP7. LC10 is going to be better between, I believe it is like 15 to 30 meters than an MP7.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be worse inside 15 meters, better outside 15 meters than an MP7. But they're otherwise very similar. They're just stupidly easy to control, clean as fuck irons, fast fire rate. So, yeah. So now, with that said, my homework now things I want to try are the AK-74U mainly. That's my main thing that I'm like really excited to try. Akimbo M19s I wrote down here, but the more I think about it, I'm probably not even going to bother because I don't like not having the option to ADS. It's capped, but they do really fucking well in a building. But then at that point, it's like, why wouldn't I just use a street sweeper?
Yeah.
You know?
Exactly.
I don't know. So, so my main piece of homework for myself is to try the AK-74U because now it is very viable. Bullfrog's still viable too, by the way. I think they increased the sprint out time, or they made the sprint out time faster.
Yeah.
That's pretty big. That's pretty big for an SMG. Less relevant for any other type of gun other than a shotgun, but for an SMG, sprint out time is very important, or it can be. So the Bullfrog's still very much viable, by the way, but I've used it a lot. So I want to try the AK-74U, and yeah, I was gonna say maybe an AS Val is a secondary, but the magazine's still.
We know the AS
small.
Val is great. It's not a bad gun. It just doesn't have enough ammo.
Yeah.
So what
Yeah,
what is the biggest mag the AS Val has? Is it
30.
only 30? Yeah.
30's
I
the
think
big-
we've talked
30's
about this.
extended mags,
Did
yeah.
we come to the conclusion that even 40 would make it too overpowered? I don't think it would. I think adding a 40 round mag to the AS Val actually would make it a really good gun, and we see a lot of people using it.
I think it would make it overpowered.
You think? 50, of course, it'd be busted. 50 and 60, it'd be insane. But 40,
Yeah.
I don't know, dude.
Maybe not. Yeah, it's possible.
Let's
that it
try it, Raven. Hey,
Raven,
give
hold
us
on.
access to the beta
on.
servers. Make it a 40 round mag.
True.
Let us try it. Let us
We'll
try
sign
it.
an NDA. I don't give
We'll
a fuck.
do it on here. Here's what we're doing, Raven. Friday, May 14th, 7 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Just send us a DM beforehand. We'll get our custom boys to use the beta lobby. We'll test out the AS Val 40 round mag
True.
for you guys.
For you.
And we'll
do
see
it
how
out
it.
of the goodness of our hearts.
Yeah, we'll see how it works. We'll give us our feedback. I mean, we'll give you our feedback, and we'll go from there. You know, we'll decide together if we want to put it in the game or not.
We'll do it together.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. For
It's
sure.
a team effort here, Raven.
Yep. So yeah. Anyways, do you have any homework? Is there anything you're
Oh, I don't
itching
do
to
homework.
try?
No.
Cool. He's unemployed and now he refuses to do any work. Homework, schoolwork, work.
Fuck work. Yeah.
Just passes on all of it.
Work. Don't know what it is. Get me in the bread line.
Any soup kitchens? So okay, I know you were saying you wanted to try the AK-74U.
Mhm.
Any other guns that tickle your fancy that you haven't tried yet?
Well, the LC10 is the main one now that it's leveled up. I need to try the LC10 in regular Warzone. That's my main one right there. LC10. I want to give that a go. And I've toyed with trying like the 9mm rounds on the M4 just to test, because I haven't seen anyone do that in a long time. I wonder if that's even on True Game Data's website, those rounds. I should check that after this to see. It's probably not.
Dude,
but
I was using it on Shoot House maybe 3 months ago. It's so fucking fun, dude.
The trouble
makes
is it
your
only has like what,
handling
32 rounds
insane.
or something?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the issue. Yep.
See, that's what I'm thinking is if you put like the right barrel on it, like no stock or something, it would be awful at like 12 meters plus, like a Cold War
Yeah.
MP5, but maybe it'll shred up close. I don't know. I want to try it.
Yeah. Yeah, you certainly could.
Yeah.
You certainly could.
I also saw
At
again.
that point, I'm thinking, why not use an AS Val though?
Yeah. I saw a video today on Twitter. I don't remember who it was, some big content creator, but he was using I think it was Joe Woe. Yeah, it was a nasty clip. He was using, I believe it was a no stock Modern Warfare M4. It was nasty. I love the M4. Still have more kills with that gun than any other Modern Warfare weapon.
You're such a rat. Fuck. Yeah, true.
Yeah,
You
so
do. It's true.
I got my 12,000 kills with that the first month the game was out, pretty sure.
It's
That's
so
all
crazy.
I used. So yeah, that'd be interesting to try that. Like a little iron sight M4 loadout with like probably an SPR. Probably an SPR.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
Cool.
Cool.
All right, little buddy. Anything else you wanted to hit real quick, or?
No, I don't think so.
All right. Well, in that case, Raven, you're welcome for giving you every idea for this patch. It was only our ideas that you used, and you used all of them. And we expect a DM post haste. Figure it out. Kidding. But seriously, thanks for the fucking likes and the reply. Not because I really give a shit about the clout. I, of course, do. But more than that, it was just cool to think you might be listening. You might be listening. So once again, orthogonal. Work it into the patch notes, and I'll come. Hey, you want to make me come, dude? Write orthogonal in your next set of patch notes, and I'll do it. I'll fucking do it, and I'll send you the vid if you want. I suspect you probably don't want that,
yeah.
but I could just ask. Just ask.
Okay.
So there's the challenge. Anyways,
There's our chance at Raven.
boys and girls, thank you very much for listening. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. It's an exciting time to be a Warzone player right now.
It is.
Everything is still in the air and everything's good and it's pretty fucking cool and it's very exciting. So props to Raven and not Infinity Ward and not Activision either, because they still haven't helped us with an anti-cheat. So fuck Activision. Don't forget that. But props to Raven for making Warzone a very cool place right now. Very fun place right now. And that is that. So once again, boys and girls, thedropshot.com is our website. It's your home for fucking everything. We have links to all our shit there. It's got our schedule, when our next fucking show is. You can watch us live there, thedropshot.com/live, of course. So check that out. We also have a link, among other things, to our Patreon, patreon.com/thedropshot. This is the best way to support the broadcast. $5 a month, you get 4 bonus eps a month. $10 a month, you get 5 bonus eps a month. And there are a ton of other benefits too. We do weekly hangouts with all of our patrons. We do gameplay breakdowns for some of them. We do private Q&As for some of them. We do call-ins for some of them. So check it out. Once again, it's the best way to support the program. We get the most out of Patreon subs, more than anything, more than Twitch, more than anything. And you guys get the most out of it too. You get the bonus content, which is like probably the meat and potatoes, as it were, of the benefits there. So consider joining up. That's all we're funded by, because we are not sponsored. Raven, even though they're stealing our labor by using our patch notes without accreditation or pay, so change it, pay us, money sign Razanon on the Cash App, thanks. We are not sponsored by anyone except you, our patrons, our dear patrons. So consider supporting us over there, and we will be back on a time that's to be determined, because we have to figure out what's going on, because Tanner's going to be in Zion.
It'll be Tuesday at a point.
Yeah, so Tuesday we'll either be doing a gameplay stream or a podcast, or perhaps both. But by Monday, we will have our schedule for the week posted on the Twitter account, which you should follow also, at the Dropshot Pod. So that's it. Boys and girls, thank you all for listening. Raven, thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. Have an excellent evening, of course. And as always, remember, we are Raven's favorite podcast. Also, stay humble.
Stay humble. Raven, we love you.